We're about to dive into a story that's literally millions of years in the making. It turns out the ground right under our feet isn't just, well, dirt and stone. Every single rock has an epic story. And today, we're going to uncover it. Okay, so let me ask you something. What in the world connects a fiery volcano, a sparkling diamond, and a dinosaur fossil? I mean, think about it for a second. What could they possibly have in common? Well, the answer is pretty incredible. They're all key characters in the epic, interconnected story of rocks. Seriously, they represent the three major types that make up our planet. And today, we're going to explore their amazing life cycle.
All right, so where does a rock story even begin? Well, a lot of the time it starts with fire.
First up, we've got igneous rocks. And their name, it comes from the Latin word for fire, ignis, which is just perfect because that's exactly where they come from. You can think of them as the planet's primary, original building blocks, forged when that super hot molten magma from deep inside the Earth cools down and gets solid. But here's the thing, not all igneous rocks are created equal. Their creation can go down two totally different paths. Over on the left, you've got magma that cools really slowly, deep underground. This super slow process lets these big, beautiful crystals form, creating rocks like granite. It's kind of like baking a cake slowly in the oven, right? But then, on the right, you have magma that erupts as lava and cools super fast on the surface. That makes these fine-grained rocks like basalt. Think of it more like flash freezing something. So, this fiery birth, it makes these rocks incredibly tough. I mean, they're hard, dense, and crystalline. And this leads to a really key feature. Because they came from molten material, you will never find a fossil inside an igneous rock. It just can't happen. Any trace of life would have been instantly vaporized. And why should you care? Well, they matter in our daily lives way more than you might think. Igneous rocks are basically geological treasure chests. They hold valuable minerals like gold, iron, and, yeah, even diamonds. We build our buildings with granite and pave our roads with basalt. And get this. Over time, as they break down, they create some of the most fertile soils on the planet. Okay, but a rock story doesn't just end with its fiery birth. Oh no. Weathering in time, they lead to its second life, where old rocks get broken down and are completely reborn. And that brings us to our next character, sedimentary rocks. You can think of these as nature's ultimate recycling project. The name comes from the Latin word for settling down, and that's exactly how they're made, from all the broken pieces or sediments of every other kind of rock, all just deposited and cemented together over ages. Yeah, the process really is like baking a geological layer cake. It all starts with weathering, wind and rain breaking down existing rocks into tiny pieces. Then, those fragments get transported by rivers or wind and deposited somewhere, settling down in layers, one on top of the other. Finally, after millions of years, the insane pressure from all the layers above cements everything together into a brand new solid rock. So what are they like? Well, unlike their super hard igneous parents, these rocks are often a bit softer, and they have these really distinct layers, which scientists call strata. And this layering process is what makes them so special. As all those sediments settle, they can actually trap and preserve the remains of plants and animals, turning the rock into a literal history book of life on Earth, written in fossils. And from an economic standpoint, whoa, they're huge. They hold our most vital energy sources. We're talking coal, oil, and natural gas. They've also been used to build some absolutely timeless structures, like the famous red sandstone forts you see in Delhi and Agra. And on top of all that, they create the super fertile soils that feed millions of people and river basins all around the world. But what happens when a rock doesn't break down, but instead gets put under some unbelievable stress? Well, that leads us to the third chapter in our story, a rock's transformation. This is where metamorphic rocks come into play. The name literally means changed form, and honestly, it's the perfect description. When an existing rock, it could be igneous or sedimentary, gets subjected to immense heat and pressure deep within the earth, it doesn't melt. No, instead, it transforms entirely. Its whole structure, its texture, its minerals, they all get rearranged. It's kind of like a caterpillar going into a chrysalis and coming out a butterfly. Same stuff, completely new form. And these transformations are just incredible. I mean, look at this. You take soft limestone, and under pressure, it becomes the beautiful, hard marble we use for statues. Humble sandstone turns into the super hard quartzite. And get this.
Under the most extreme pressure, the sedimentary rock coal can transform into graphite or even a diamond.
So yeah, these transformed rocks are incredibly valuable to us. We use marble for art and architecture, slate for roofing. Graphite isn't just for your pencils, it's absolutely essential for atomic energy. And of course, this is the process that gives us some of the world's most precious gems, like diamonds. Okay, so we've got rocks born from fire, rocks reborn from tiny pieces, and rocks transformed by intense pressure. It kind of seems like a complete story, right? A beginning, a middle, and an end? But is that really the end of the story? Once a rock becomes metamorphic, is its journey just over?
Nope, not even close. Because this isn't a straight line, it's a never-ending cycle.
You see, this isn't a linear story with a neat ending. It's an endless cycle. Any rock can become any other type of rock. That igneous rock can get weathered down into sediment, which then forms a sedimentary rock. That sedimentary rock can get buried deep, deep down and be transformed into a metamorphic rock. And that metamorphic rock, it can be pushed so deep that it actually melts back into magma, restarting the entire cycle all over again. So, the next time you pick up a stone, just remember, it's not just a rock. It's a traveler on an endless, epic journey of creation and transformation. The ground beneath you isn't static at all. It's a story that's constantly in motion. And the question is, what chapter is it on right now?